everybody. How are you this morning? Welcome to Saturday School. If you're jumping on, say hello. Let me know where you're coming in from this morning. I'm in Devon. It's not raining. It was a bit windy last night, but it's all good in Devon. So let me know where you are. I've just had to finish making pancakes. My daughter's like, can I have pancakes this morning? I really want pancakes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just like making tons of pancakes this morning before I jump on. Hello, Warman. It's snowing. Annette, it's snowing. Nice to see you, Annette. Wow, amazing snow. It's not actually, I don't know if it's like cold here, but hi, Andrew. Tons of snow. Goodness me, in Lichfield. Wow, it's nearly Christmas. Excellent. So if you're just jumping on, let me know where you're coming in from. Yeah, there's no snow in Devon, no snow. Just lots of pancakes I've had to just thrash out. Like, who wants, it's like, I need pancakes. I was like, quick. Anyway, so this morning, I'm going to share something that you should be doing if you want to get more sales. So, and it's super, super simple because we don't want any complicated systems. We want super, super simple systems to get us going. And hi, Louise, nice to see you. Raining in Johannesburg. Gosh, so normally, I guess if you come from South Africa, you've got the best weather, but raining this morning in Johannesburg. Well, nice to see you this morning. Snow in Stockport. Wow. Well, there's no snow in Devon, that's what we can say, but it's exciting. So yeah, end of November, we've got one more month left. So we've got me this morning, and then after me, we have Chris, who's going to be speaking after me, Chris Payne. So we've got that coming up. And he's actually speaking about Amazon, and he's got the quickest and easiest way to make money with Amazon ebooks. So using very little money. So, and I think he's got I think he calls it copy and paste system. So that's what we want, something that's super easy to get going with. So that's coming up as well at 11 o'clock. So I'll just wait for a few more people to jump on. Let me know where you're coming from if you are jumping on the chat now. Snow, Stoke-on-Trent. I think in the north we've got snow. I think I've concluded this. Hi Edward, nice to see you again. It feels like I've not been on for ages. I had this stage where I was on every week, wasn't I? And now I haven't been on for ages. Angus from Sussex. Petworth Farmers was cancelled because of high winds. So you're making it. Angus, you are here. Let's hope we don't disappoint you. You're going to have so much fun. If you've got questions, you can obviously put them in the chat and I'll answer them about any topics really. But today we're just centering on this one. Ah, Jerry, my favourite. I can never pronounce Kirkcaldy. I feel like I did it one week, but I'm not quite sure. Hi Hazel, nice to see you. It's like having all my friends. Wish I could see you though, which would be much better. So yeah, welcome to Saturday School. So if you haven't been on Saturday School before, oh hi Eugene, you've used the question and answers chat box, very efficient. You're in Windsor, you're next to the castle. I've been there once actually. There you are. So excellent. I don't know if it's snowing in Windsor, but nice to see you. So Kirkcaldy. Sorry, Jerry. Sorry. I'm rubbish, aren't I, with pronunciation. Morning, Ian. Nice to see you as well. So if you have never met me before, my name is Perry-Louise, and I have been around the Internet Business School since 2012, I think, or 13. I can't remember. It's that long ago. I can't remember. So I work with Simon on various projects and coaching projects, but I also build communities. I have my own community called Like-Hearted Leaders, and we are a community for business leaders, which I run. So community is my real passion, and that is what I'm doing. I've done all sorts of things before this, run seminars, spoken at events, written a book about membership sites, which is back in the day. So that is who I am in a nutshell. I used to be a lawyer, but no more. I'm on the dark side. I'm on the entrepreneur side. So that's a little bit of background about me. So let's see. So let me know what your number one challenge is right now. So let me know in the comments what your number one challenge is right now. So we can go offshoot, but maybe keep it in the business thing. So what is it that you are challenged with right now? So I think if I was going to share what my number one challenge is now. Oh, you're a lawyer as well. Excellent. Forever a lawyer. My dad still hasn't got over it that I've become an entrepreneur. He's like, no, all those years to be a lawyer. And then what happened? So let's see your challenges. So Jerry says your list is small. You know something? Should I share something about lists since you brought that up? And that is that there's a really good article which I've mentioned before, and it's called 1000 True Fans. And if you put it into Google, you will find it. And it's really interesting read, this thing about 1000 True Fans, because the guy who wrote it, his name's gone out of my head for a second, but what's his name? It's gone out of my head. But anyway, Google 1000 True Fans. And actually, it's saying that if you can get 1000 fans who really love your stuff, that is enough to have a really profitable business, basically. And my community, I only have a small list, but the engagement, so on my list, I think there's 111 actually on my list at the moment, but the engagement from that list is above 80%, I would say, maybe even more. And the people who pay me from being on that list is high as well, and all of those things. And I think sometimes we can get really obsessed with having to have loads and loads of numbers, and then it's kind of like a numbers game and conversions. But if you find the right people, and those people on your list, Jerry, if they are really engaged and niched and people who really want to listen from you, even if your list is small, it doesn't mean that it's necessarily a bad thing. So I would say that about list building. So don't get despondent, but just speak to those people as if they're really, really important, because as it grows, you will build on that. And so don't worry about that. But thank you for sharing that challenge. List building, Terry, the same. So number one, challenges. Everybody else is good for challenges, which is perfect. Nobody else has any challenges. So well done to Terry and Jerry. Terry and Jerry, that rhymes as well. So list building. So yes, list building, but think about it as building relationships. So switch it up a little bit and think about, okay, I need to start talking to people I want to sell to in the future. How can I do that? Yeah, better conversations, like Edward says. Like how can you have better conversations with people? And things work. Like every business, every person starts off with just one person to start off with. So I've shared this in the past, I think I shared it with you, that I did a podcast workshop in my local area. I'd never done it before. One person showed up. I still did it. She then went on to have private coaching with me and then signed up for a product, Kajabi, and I still get a commission from her. And that's years and years later. And so it's really important that you serve the individual as well as the masses, because individuals matter. So don't worry so much if it's small. That's a big project, Leslie, merging your business with your business partners merging my business with my business partners. That sounds like a big challenge, and hopefully you've got some professional help with that. That seems like a big challenge. Edward says conversions as in converting leads. All right, okay. So that's your biggest challenge. Okay, right. So you have to make sure that the leads are the right types of people as well, and do they need whatever you're selling. So I'm not going to go into that because it's kind of a big conversation. So Louise says, I have the theory, but battle with the implication, the actual doing. So you struggle with, say, creating a landing page. It's time consuming because it's a case of run the instruction and do the actual implementation as I go along. Yeah, it's definitely the thing to lean into as an entrepreneur is definitely the getting it done. And sometimes we'll find that you will procrastinate on getting something done, not necessarily because you can't do it, but because there's some underlying unconscious belief. So if you put that landing page out and if people buy, then you might have to deliver what you said you're going to deliver, or maybe I'll become too busy and then I won't have my freedom. And it's all kind of often tied into your values. So in terms of what I would say around that, I would say that it's good to have accountability, get a coach or a friend who can hold you accountable, because the theory, everybody can have a good idea and everybody can have the theory, but until you try it out and get it going, you're not going to, and it is time consuming. And I guess it's about blocking time slots out as well, Louise, because then blocking out time slots and then get it fitted in. So yeah, I'm not sure I could be a psychologist, but you know something, and that's what I'm gonna move on in a second. But the point is everything that you learn is so much more about how you approach that, because mindset is at least 80%, I would say, to everything. And so if you're struggling with landing pages and you're not doing it, there's something else behind it. There's always something else behind it. Like hanging out with Simon, he's like, he teaches me these things. It's like, right, this is what you need to do. And he'll just say, get it done. And then you have to get it done. And then it will work or it won't work. And then we'll move on to the next thing. It's like, get it done, get it done. And sometimes you just hold yourself back because you've got these stories in your head. Like maybe sometimes you learn things when you're growing up and you're like, okay, actually, I have a story running in my head that only men are successful. So if you're running that in your head, you will self-sabotage every time you try to be successful because you think that only men are successful, for example. But it's a very deep topic. I'm not going to go too far into that. But anyway, so yes, and outsource, like Hugh says, definitely. If you can't do the stuff, get it outsourced. I've got a VA. She's so good because she'll get a landing page done super quick, and that would make me procrastinate. So find someone to outsource it to. So thank you for sharing your challenges right now, which is interesting to hear. Now I want to know what your goal is. Like, what is your goal? What is it you want to achieve? Because if you don't have a goal, you're never going to get there. And I remember when I wrote the book, I worked with Rick McMahon, who's part of the Internet Business School as well, and he was my coach. And I remember we had a conversation in November, and he said, when do you want this published by? And we decided on February the 14th, I think it was. And then in late November, he said, I need to get it to the typesetter by January the 4th. And so I was writing this book all over Christmas. I did it in 5 or 6 weeks because I had a definite deadline and a definite goal. So I had to get the book published by February. I mean, it wouldn't matter if I hadn't done it, but that was the goal. And then I had the deadline of the 4th or 5th of January to get it to the typesetter. So let me know or write down, what is your goal? What is it you want to achieve next year? And have a think about it. You don't have to share it with me. You can share it if you want to, but it's really, really important that you set your goals, because everything you learn from these webinars or other trainings you're doing, if you don't have a goal and you don't know what you're working towards, you'll just keep going around in circles. So I'd love you to think about what your goal is. Hi, Alan, nice to see you. Nice to see you back on Saturday School. So, right. So now, would you like a sales uplift of 270%? I think we would all like a sales uplift of 270%. And sometimes we are always looking for the complicated answer to everything. And it's about taking step-by-step processes. So building the list, it's like, where can we find my first person to join the list? Where can we find my second person? And just keep building it in an authentic way. Don't spam people. Think about, so for example, LinkedIn. It's awful, LinkedIn. You get all these random messages and people, they're just definitely trying to sell you something. And it doesn't make you want to buy them. Like, would you like to come on to my webinar? I've never heard of you. I don't know who you are. No, I don't want to come onto your webinar. Because that's what we're in the process of. We're in the process of building trust and relationships. And the ways we can do that, there's many ways we can do that, but it's something we should focus more of our attention on, because we don't need to always search for the quick wins. Not everything is a quick win. And we can be working on these things in the background to help us build solid foundations for as we develop other products and services. So I'm going to share with you a really simple way that you can get more sales, whatever you're selling. So whether it's products, whether it's your services, and it's super, super simple. So did you know this? You might not have known this. A word of mouth recommendation is the primary factor behind 20 to 50% of all purchasing decisions. And that's really high. So if you were going to go to a new hairdresser's or you needed a new dentist, you would probably ask a friend if they could recommend somewhere, because nobody wants to. We've got to build that trust, and we've got to build that connection, and we've got to feel safe where we're going places, because safety is one of the fundamental human psychological needs. So if you've ever looked at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, he talks about safety, and you need shelter and food. And when you've got all those things, then you can move up and you look for other things as well. So we're always wanting to feel safe. Now, do we feel safe? That's why if you're in a friendship group and somebody else comes into that friendship group, it does change the dynamics a little bit. So if you're all going out for a meal and somebody you didn't know comes into that group, you wouldn't have the same kind of conversation because you're not familiar with that person. You don't know if it's safe to share with them. Who are they? Will they take anything I say and tell somebody that I shouldn't? You don't feel safe. And so you would not have a greater experience that evening because of that lack of safety. So it's really important when we're building businesses and trying to do things like build our list. We need to find ways to connect with people who already know us, because it's really quick then to grow where you are operating using somebody else's. So say you have a connection with somebody and they've worked with you for several years. Now, if they recommend you to somebody who has never heard of you before, it's going to get a much better effect than you going to them directly, because the relationship has been built with your client. So that third party, I've messed it completely up what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is there's my client called Jerry. And then there is Jerry's friend called Alan. So Alan is looking for a new coach. So that's me. And he's thinking, who shall I go to? And so he might find me on the internet, or he might have watched me on Saturday School, but he might think to himself, well, actually, I'm not really sure who she is. I don't really know who she is, has she got results before, who she worked with, who are her mentors, she doesn't know. But Alan might say to Jerry, do you know a coach? And then Jerry could say, yes, I've been working with Claire for years. I've got loads of great results. I got X, Y, and Z done. And so straight away, because Jerry and Alan have a relationship already and know each other, Alan then thinks, okay, well, Jerry likes her and Jerry's built up a relationship with her, so I'm going to go to her. And that's essentially what I'm saying. It's super, super important that we utilize this really easy way of building up our businesses by using third parties effectively. Good morning, Israel. Nice to see you. So 72% of people see online reviews in the same light as a recommendation as a friend. So I definitely know, and let me know in the comments if this is you, like before I purchase anything, I will definitely look at the reviews. I always look at the reviews, in fact. And if there was one review that didn't seem quite so good, it would put me off. And I would probably go on and look at something else. So I think that percentage could possibly be higher. So I really want you to bear this in mind when you are building things in your business. Yes, always on Amazon. Yes, and Amazon, I'm going to talk about Amazon in a minute, but Amazon's been doing this for years and years and years. Now, the difficulty we have, and this is something to bear in mind, is that 90% of people use online reviews to make their buying decisions. However, only 6% of people write reviews. And that's why you will see incentivizations. I don't think that's a word. It sounds like a good word, incentivizations. I don't know. But anyway, companies try and incentivize you to leave a review, or they will do follow-up emails and those kind of things, because it's really, really important to businesses. And I'm going to talk about ways that you can get reviews in a moment. So, and this is where the statistic came from, the 270%. So a recent Northwestern University study suggests that having at least 5 quality product reviews can increase the likelihood of purchase by 270%. So that's only 5. So it's not very many, but it's so important that you do this. And obviously, the more reviews you get, the higher likelihood there is that someone's going to purchase from you. So what does it all mean for you as a business owner? And I think we've all getting to grips with this. Like, reviews and recommendations really do matter, and you really need to incorporate them into your business plan and into your business model. And I would say that this would be something that we know we should be doing, but are we focusing on it? So my aim for today would be that just one of you put something in practice from what I'm sharing with you, and it is likely to increase your sales. So that statistic is pretty scary. It's like 72%. I think it's higher, to be honest. I mean, we could do a bit of a straw poll, like how many of you would buy without a review, or if you saw a negative review. Google reviews are really important as well. Actually, my dad's got this issue at the moment that he sent his car to a garage to be sold, and they've basically stolen it. Like, they won't communicate with him, they won't pay him for it, and they're actually desperately asking for Google reviews. And at some point, I'll probably leave a review for that garage. And they are really important. And I would not do business with that garage if I had read the reviews. So Amazon's one of the most valuable companies on the planet. And as Edward says, they really thrive on doing reviews, and it's part of the whole strategy of Amazon. So you always want to be looking for success, for clues, because success does leave clues. So Amazon created a recurring business model. It's the relationship economy. So it's not so much about the £79 a year Prime fee. It's about keeping you engaged with their brand, and it keeps people buying. It's easy to buy from them. They've got the app, and reviews are central to the buying experience because it builds trusts, and people are reading them and then purchasing based on what they read. So reviews are so important, like I've been saying, because it's the difference between a sale and no sale, and we are in the business of selling. So the other reasons that reviews are really important are that they can drive traffic to your website. So someone could read a review and think, oh, that sounds interesting, and click through to your website. They improve local search engine optimization rankings. So they make up to 15% of ranking factors, because reviews, especially new reviews, mean that they're new content and mean that your content is relevant. And so Google will improve you in the rankings because your content is obviously up to date, you're obviously working and in the business, and people are giving reviews, which shows that you are relevant to the audience and not something that's around from the past. It also helps long tail keyword research. So that's where people write in more of a sentence. So rather than just write in trainers, they'll write in something like Nike Air trainers, or like I said in that example, best inexpensive spa treatments in Exeter. So if someone had written a review for a spa in Exeter and they put, I really enjoy going to the Exeter spa because it was the best inexpensive spa treatment in Exeter, I had an amazing time, it's then going to show up in the search result. Reviews, like I was saying, really, they create more user-generated content. So it helps keep content up to date, like I was saying. So people writing regular reviews, it's new content, it's exciting. Google, like, these people are people to highlight in the rankings. People are more likely to click through when they're reading a review, to look at other reviews, and they really do deepen trust and relationships, and it drives consumer choices. So I definitely buy via reviews, and if there isn't a review, it will actually stop me buying in most cases. Now, whatever you're doing, if you're selling your coaching services or if you have products and services, I just want you to think about this and know that on average, someone will have 7 touch points with your business before they purchase from you. So there's lots, and that's why it's important to show up in lots of different ways. So you might have an email newsletter, you might be doing social media posts, reviews, you might have a website, the recommendations, all of those things. So people will see you in 7 different places before they do business with you. And that's part of that familiarity and building confidence that a brand's there for the long term. So if they see your social media post and then they get your email newsletter and they will see you. So if, for example, I was doing some work yesterday around press releases and PR, and looking at how you do things like you go onto Twitter, for example, if you want to be featured in an article, and you're following the journalists who are writing those articles, and you are commenting on their posts or sharing their feed, and then subconsciously they'll get to know your name. And so maybe then if you approach them and say, I'd love to write an article for you, or I have this interesting story to share with you, they would already have kind of built some kind of relationship with you, maybe subconsciously because they've seen your name show up. So think about that. Think about how you can better be in front of the audience you'd like to be in front of. So here's a few tips about how to get reviews. So probably one of the things that you do in the past, but people don't do so much now, is call your clients and ask them. It might be that they are super busy and you might want to say, would you like me to pop down a few lines and you can add to it or change it? You know, make it super easy because people are busy. And so you need to make it really easy for them. And email as well. So you can, I'm going to share how you can do this automatically, but follow up after purchases, send an email. If you're going to do this by text, you can get a really high open rate with text because not as many people get a text as opposed to emails. And then you can sign up to third-party reviews. And I will show you about those review sites in a moment. So like I said, to get reviews, you can ask and follow up. So via email or automated through the services I'm going to share in a moment. Shopify, for example, does that. Timing's super key as well. So when they are in that point of high excitement, and I already did a business course a few years ago, and I remember I got back and it was in, where was it? Palm Springs. It was in Palm Springs. And it was an amazing event. And I remember I did a video testimonial and I was super high almost after the event because it was so exciting and we learned so much and connected with great people and it was really, really good. And I remember I did a testimonial, a video testimonial for the coach, for the mentor. But if I did that now, like I can't even remember where it was. So, I mean, I can, but you see what I mean? It's like I'm in a different place. I'm in a different space now. I'm thinking about pancakes for my daughter for breakfast and whether I took the dog out and things. I'm not on that high of just getting off. So it's really important that when you've solved their problem, that you've done it. Now, you don't want to do it too late either. So if you've got the business remorse, like should I have spent X thousand on that course, or you know, the flights or all those kind of things, you're thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done it. And you're not so excited. So timing is super, super key. This is important with everything. Reduce the friction. So if it's a hassle, people won't bother. Like, we have busy lives. Like I get so many text messages and emails, and sometimes when I get an email, I can respond straight away. Sometimes I just don't get around to responding because there's so many in my inbox, so I don't see it, or whatever it might be, because people are juggling things. I'm juggling school runs and other work and all those kind of things. So you need to make it really hassle-free. Also, this is really good for whatever you're doing. So if you're asking someone to fill a survey in, or if you're asking people to apply for a course of yours or anything like that, say this will take 10 minutes, because where people are going into something and they're uncertain, how long is it going to take me? And they're thinking, well, if it's going to take me an hour, I haven't got an hour now, I'll do it later. But if you think it's going to take me 2 minutes, I'm like, okay, I've got 2 minutes. So always set up how long it is so people can make that decision whether they're going to be available to do it for that time. And create different spaces for people to leave reviews. So some people will use Google, and some people will be used to using Google reviews, or maybe Facebook. So there's different places where you can get reviews. And you could offer an incentive for an honest review. So even if they give you a bad review, you still got to give them a gift card or a discount or whatever it is. But you can't bribe people to give you good reviews, because that is unethical and you'll be found out. So this is how you can automate the business, the process yourself as a business owner. So you can use a website like FIFO.com. So if this is something that's interesting to you, automate the process with FIFO. So this is typically how it works on FIFO. So the customer will purchase from your website, send an email to the customer to leave their feedback, so that FIFO will automatically send the email. Then the customer leaves feedback, and it's also then shown on the FIFO reviews on on their site, as well as showing on your site. And because it's by a third party, it means that you haven't done it and made up the reviews yourself. So there's more trust, because again, like I was talking about the Alan and Jerry example, you're bringing a third party into it. So it makes it more trustworthy. And then you get gold stars added to your Google AdWords, and you can share the feedback to your social networks. So that's in a nutshell how that works, if that is of interest. So FIFO needs the sales data to get the reviews. So you can use plugins to automate this. And I'm not going to go into it now, but they're the different ways, and you'll automate it. So you'll need to connect that. But if that's something that's relevant to you, look it up. And there's an example. So if you buy from, say, Air and Grace, they will send you, and this is what it looks like, the email from FIFO. And it says, get started. And when I was saying about reducing friction, like that email, you just rate it. So you can put your 5 stars and leave your feedback, and maybe that's all you do. And it's not a big deal to just press those stars on your email. So that's the way that it works. And there you go. You can see it on their website, and then you can see all of the feedback over the years. So they've got 4.9 out of 5. So they really feature high with their feedback. So you're going to want to work with them. And then these reviews are on their website. So that's an example on their website. It will say whatever it is. And down the right-hand side, FIFO verified. So we know that Erin Grace haven't just made up these reviews. They're actually real customers who've actually bought their shoes. So you can set up an automated email sequence as well. So that's where when someone purchases within so many days or hours, you will get feedback automatically. Oh, I've just moved, I think. I don't know why. There we go. Can you see my screen still? I just clicked the wrong button and it stopped sharing. Can you see me still? Hopefully you can still see me. So how you use reviews. So thank you, Louise. It just clicked to the side. My mouse is like a little bit sort of temperamental. Sometimes I'm doing something and it'll whiz off and I'm like, come back, especially when you're in a webinar. So use reviews, use the reviews into your product, like I just showed you in that Erin Grace example. Put them on social media, so make them into little social media posts. You can write blogs and include them in stories. So I work with so-and-so, and they said that these were the transformations that took place, etc., etc. Make sure you ask for permission before you do that. Case studies are really good as well. So if you're doing a blog, do a case study about someone you've worked with. You could do video and written copy. You can upload it to different social media channels, all of those things. Maybe you haven't thought of all of these things. So this is an opportunity for you to think of different ways to do it. You could add them to printed materials. So if you have business cards or leaflets or brochures, that kind of thing, you can add them onto there. So if you are running a physical business, maybe hairdressers, for example, and you might have leaflets in the salon, wouldn't it be great to just look at some reviews on there about people who've worked, who've come along and used your services? Because again, like if you go to a new hairdresser's, for example, it's difficult because you don't know whether they're going to be good at cutting or whether you're going to have a bad haircut. So if you read other people, so actually a good example is I went to a new garage. So I moved house a year ago, and this was a garage that was closer to my house. And I thought maybe I'll try that garage and for my MOT. And I didn't know anybody who'd been to that garage, but I thought, let me have a look. So I looked on Facebook and I actually saw 2 reviews, and they both were positive about the garage, and I used it. And my car is still here. I mean, they did give me a service and an MOT when I asked for an MOT, but still, I'm going to overlook that. But that's a classic example of how I basically went to that garage because I read 2 Facebook reviews saying that they had a good experience there. Only 2. So that's £220 that wouldn't have been spent with them, would have gone somewhere else. So take note, people. I know this is not like the funnest topic ever, is it? I don't know. Let me know what you want me to talk about next month, and I will talk about it. I think you like last month's the best. So add it to your newsletter at the bottom of that, and have a dedicated reviews page. So maybe on your website you'll have a dedicated reviews page. So what makes a good review? So a visual element, so you can see a picture, so you can identify. Now, when you're going to be doing this and showcasing them, thank you, Louise, it is super important. It's a super important topic, because I don't think I realised how important reviews were until I started doing this whole presentation on them. But so when you're doing reviews and you've got them on your website, you want different types of people. So if you've ever been to one of Simon's events, he used to do this for the diploma, he would have people who, different types of people. So he'd have maybe someone who was younger, someone who was older, different ethnicities, women, men, all of everything. You'd have different people telling their story, because if I saw a woman who was my age and blonde and similar to me and said she had children, I would connect with her more, because I feel that resonance, that we're on the same journey. Whereas if I saw a man who was in his 70s, who'd had success with something, I wouldn't resonate necessarily with him, because I'm not a man in my 70s. So that's why it's important to do a different and showcase a different amount of people. So Shirley, have you got a question? If you've got a question, can you just put it in the chat and I'll answer it. So make it as human as possible. Like LinkedIn messages are not human. I ain't getting cross with it. Like, just write to me like I'm real people. I don't know you. It's just like a spamming thing. I hate it. Try and structure a review as a story. So let's talk about the transformation. Like, think about what people enjoy reading. People don't want to just read like, yeah, Claire's great, go and work with her. Claire's great. Like, is she? Like, let's hear the story. Why would Claire be great? Why? What has she done for these people? Like, people are concerned about what they want to get out of these things. And also, can you add numbers? So if you are running a weight, boot camp, and you say 15 people came on here and each lost a stone over a fortnight, then that's something people aspire to. You need to sell people what they need, what they want to buy, not what you think they want to buy. So what do people want to buy? Or you can tell the story. So if someone's getting married and they want to fit into their wedding dress and feel better about themselves, they need to improve their health over a period of time. Can you tell the story of someone who got married and how it improved over time? So and yes, totally, like Edward says, Google favors a business more prominently with reviews than ones without. And that's why it's so important. It's a topic that isn't given enough attention, I don't think. Now, don't do your own. No. We're not doing our own, because this is what happens. So here's one example, Trustpilot. So Trustpilot found out that the company was inviting customers to leave reviews in a biased way. So if you go to the Shore Academy, you will see this big warning. So would you buy from the Shore Academy? No, you wouldn't. They've got 48,000 reviews, 340. You don't know if any of them are good. They could have 48,000 genuine ones, or they could have 48,339 genuine ones, but that one is just basically blown them out of the water. So don't do your own. It's not credible. It's not ethical. It's going to get you nowhere. Don't do it. So now I'm going to share with you some of the review platforms. So Google, super important. Reviewers will need a Google account to do it. And it's really effective for your online profile. But if you're a business owner, you're going to need a business account. And then you'll show up on maps and people can click on your business and leave a review. So that's how you need to set it up if you're a business. So there you go. There's an example of someone, they've got 53 Google reviews, and they're showing up on Google in their research results, and they will show up bigger than the other people who don't have it. So look at Mad Sock Media, no reviews. They're open 24 hours a day. They haven't got time to do reviews. They're too tired. They're open 24 hours. But no, who's going to go to Mad Sock? Nobody. I mean, unless they knew the person. And they've got Bean Print. They've got 44. They close at 5. They know how to shut down at the end of the day. And then we've got Reddit's printers. They've got no reviews and they're open now. So when you look at that, you're thinking, okay, Minute Man, I've got 53, 4.9. And then Bean Print, they're the two you're going to choose. Mad Sock, they're there 24 hours for all your printing needs overnight. However, no reviews. So get the idea. The thing you need to just do as well is always respond to your reviews as well, because if people bother to do them, you need to make sure that you're responding as well. So it shows that you're grateful, and you can also use keywords as well. So you could put something like, so if you put "Thank you, Alison, the Internet Business School really appreciates your feedback." Internet Business School will then show up if someone's searching for Internet Business School and help your rankings. And you could also subtly market another product. So I'm glad you enjoyed that course. If you'd like another one, we've got some other courses available, or have you seen our new course on whatever it might have been? So that's a way to respond to reviews. Now, we often can get negative reviews as well. Not often, but you can get, it's always subjective as well, like a 5. Like my daughter got her report and basically all of it was excellent, and there was a few goods, but good was what everyone's supposed to be getting, and excellent was like way above all expectations. And she was saying that the IT teacher doesn't even know her name. So he's just gone for a blanket good across the board. And some people will, if you said how much you enjoying this webinar, some people would give it a 10, but some would only give it a 10 if I was giving out free money, and it couldn't be any better. It just depends how you view things. Like, you're not always going to necessarily get 5, however, out of 5. But if you do get a negative review, just take a breath and don't reply straight away, because we get so into things, don't we? Like, we're so invested in our products, and then someone will go and leave a review and it doesn't feel fair and all of those things. So don't reply in haste, because then you end up with a verbal war online. And there's always going to be people who don't like you, and that's okay. Not everybody has to like you. You just need to have good people who do like you, who are your target people. And there's always going to be people who will go out and try and do things negatively, and it's bad for you as a business. However, just show some compassion, because if someone's got enough time to go and write awful reviews, they've obviously got something else going on in their life and they're really unhappy, because it's not about your review, is it? They're just angry people or sad or whatever it might be. So investigate the problem first. Have a look into what they're talking about. Was that an issue? And it's always good to apologize, even if you aren't wrong. So we're sorry to hear, or whatever, because you don't want to be on the defensive necessarily. Unfortunately, everyone will leave it. There's lots of people who just do. I think people just do it sometimes just for the fun of it. I don't know why. I don't like that, Louise. Louise says she's an Airbnb and got a blanket 3 from one guest that has knocked all my 5s and lost my super hosting status for the past year. Oh, so annoying. Like 3, they might think 3 might be good. Like, oh, yeah, it's fine. It was an average. Is out of, I guess it was out of 5. 3 out of 5. Like, 5 would be you giving them free accommodation. I don't know, but it's so infuriating, isn't it? And there is this downside to reviews, because, like I say, people will view things in different ways, or maybe there wasn't enough toilet paper or something, so they're like, right, that's a 3. You can't ever. People are humans and they do weird stuff. So try and keep calm, don't be too defensive, and try to take the conversation offline. So please drop us an email rather than have a big verbal argument online, because that's not so good. So other review platforms are Facebook. You need a Facebook business page to do that. So there's an example of Innocent, who are on there on Facebook. It's a really good way as well to show great customer service. So someone's upset the coconut water's changed, and they're really disappointed. But Innocent have replied, "We're sorry to hear you're disappointed." They've said they work with ethical and sustainable ingredients, and they think the coconut variety should be cleaner taste. I'm not sure coconut water tastes nice, does it, to be honest? Maybe you just need a nice cup of tea. That's what I say. Agatha, get a cup of tea. Never be disappointed with tea. Right, so, and yes, we know taste is a real subjective thing, but it definitely shouldn't be tasteless. But it is coconut water. Anyway, it's a good way to show that you care as a business. Yelp. This is big in America. I was out in America a few years ago with my friend, and we were trying to find somewhere to go to something to eat, and he was like, right, I'm going on Yelp. It's like, what are the reviews? He definitely runs everything via Yelp. but claim your free business page on there. And then we've got third-party review sites as well. So you need to search out the ones that are relevant to your industry. So industry-specific ones. So now I'm going to go through a few different ones. Now, if your industry doesn't come up, you can have a Google and have a look around, because you'll be surprised. When I started looking, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many. So TripAdvisor, we know about TripAdvisor. So service industry, hotels, travel, hospitality. You probably heard this one. There's a Checkatrade. If you listen to commercial radio, there's always an advert for Checkatrade. mybuilder.com, checkatrade.com, Checkatrade. I was going to start singing, but I won't. And then we've got Louise's for Airbnb.co.uk, and booking.com, expedia.com, hotels.com. These are all review sites. And actually, even if you don't do anything for your own business, why don't you do something nice and do a review for someone that you haven't done one for? So I've got one I can do. I stayed in a hotel in Wales, and they need a review, which was quite a funny experience, actually. I stayed in this hotel in Wales and I went to a business event back in August. That's a guest house, should I say. And I got there and I got chatting to the guy, and he said something like, he says, I've given you this room 7 or whatever it was. He says, because I know you like a quiet room. And I was like, he knows like a quiet room. What does he mean? I don't understand. And it was a bit weird. And then I realized that, well, I didn't actually look it up, but I think if you're on booking.com, I think you can click your preferences, and mainly I'd stay in London. So maybe I put quiet rooms, but it's like, I know you like a quiet room, Claire. I was like, oh, do I? Oh my God, he's following me. Yes. What's Edward saying? On the flip side, you get sellers on Fiverr that insist on 5 stars for a 3-star service, which gives a skewed impression for the next buyer. Yes, the shysters. Exactly, Edward. The shysters. That's a good word. Do they really do that? You shouldn't ever give them a review like that, or they not give you the product if they don't do it. Don't deal with Fiverr people like that. It's bad. Yeah, we don't want skewed reviews. This one, Verber. Or VRBO, they changed their name. I can't remember what it used to be called, but I'm like, why did they change it to VRBO? Because you can't say it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you're supposed to say Verbo, but there you go. If you're in this industry, check it out. Trustpilot, that was the example I used earlier. So that is that one. Guidesforbrides.com. That's the wedding industry. If you're in weddings. Accounting industry. You see how they get a bit dull on the accounting one. It says the ex-lawyer. Well, actually, I'm a lawyer for life. Once you're a solicitor, you're one for forever. Not practicing though. But ukaccountingfirms.co.uk, accounting industry. Moving on. Construction industry. So there's a job here for people. You can go into these industries and get these websites updated. They look all like they're from early 90s. This is a catchy little domain name, computer. Sorry, computer repair companies.co.uk. It could be like computer air companies. I don't like that name, but it does what it says on the tin, computer repairs, services and companies. So if that's your area, do that. Edward says, my guy gave me a hard time for leaving a generous 4 stars instead of 5. So just be careful. Yes, be careful. And that's another thing, actually, like if you're looking at reviews and you're reading some reviews, follow up, like contact the person and say, did you work with so-and-so and did you enjoy their service? You can do some extra following up. If you're spending $5 or so or $10 on Fiverr, maybe you didn't want to bother doing all of that. But if you're investing in something, maybe follow up some of the reviews to check if they're real. Web design, bestwebdesignagencies.co.uk. So if that's your niche, there you go. Treatwell.co.uk for the beauty industry. So again, so many examples here. I only do a few examples. I did this presentation for Simon and he was like, put more examples in. I was like, really? He was like, yes, more. So whatclinic.com. This is really good actually, because these guys went on a rock climbing trip around Southeast Asia, and then one of them needed some medical treatment and they didn't really know where to go. So they created this whole website. So you might need to know that anyway if you're going to travel, if you're ever going to travel. I don't know if we're ever going to travel again, but carehome.co.uk, put your parents in a nice care home, or give this to your children if you're old enough, so they can find you a nice care home. Rover.com, not the car, it's for dogs, pet sitting, dog walking and boarding. We want nice places for our dogs to go. So here's some other ways to collect reviews as well. So Video Appeal, this is really good actually. Simon uses this, I've used it as well. And you can send it to people, they click on a link and then the video comes up on your phone and you can get someone to just to quickly record a message and then it puts it into the software and then you got your message. So there's no like sending videos, and it's just super easy. You literally click a link and then you've got someone doing a testimonial for you. So I whizzed through those last ones, so you've got a few minutes breather before we go on to Chris. But I just thought I'd leave you this quote because I really like it. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you make them feel. So you want to make people feel like good, because they're never going to forget it. So I thought I'd share that with you. I hope you enjoyed the presentation on reviews. I hope you're going to use them more. I hope you're going to give more as well, reviews, because you can see how important it is. And we want to support businesses, especially small businesses, and giving honest reviews is something that we could really, really lean into and really, let's support people and bring people back together. We've been through tough times over the last year or so, and let's do something nice and make people feel good about themselves. If you've got any questions, do let me know in the comments. Thank you, Leon. 300% enjoyed your presentation. You're my friend. Thank you, Leon. I didn't know if it was a bit boring. Oh, thank you, Alan. Excellent presentation. Thank you. I didn't include eBay, who were built on reviews and really are the grandfather reviews. Yeah, I could have put eBay in. I like to mix it up. I didn't put it in, Andrew, but eBay as well. eBay is a big one as well. To be honest, reviews are, eBay is probably one of the earliest actually. And that's an interesting point. Thank you for bringing that up, Andrew. But eBay is definitely, one of the grandfather of review sites. So do I have an example of review sites for language courses? No, not off the top of my head. Put it into Google and see what exactly it is you're looking for, because that will find the most proficient thing for you. Like, it depends, because like if you went on Udemy or something like that and they have reviews on there as well. So it depends how you're hosting your courses, or is it your website and you're having language courses on your website? Because if it's your website and you're teaching languages, get reviews from your students and put them on your website. So Louise says, next session, can you focus on how to get started building a community? Yes, I can. In fact, I will do that. What do you want to do? How to get started building a community. I will do that for you. That will be next session. I'll just take a picture. Oops. There we go. Okay, that's what we're doing next session. Well done, Louise, you asked. I can definitely do that. I can't remember what date my session is, but I'll have a look. Right. Alan says bark.com is another site where you can leave reviews. Is that a domain? Is that to do with dogs? I guess it is, isn't it? I'm not really sure. Chris says, useful, important reviews. Where do I leave a review? A review for me? That's very kind. If that's what you meant, LinkedIn, you could put a review on LinkedIn if you'd like, a recommendation. That would be kind. Claire Perry-Louise on LinkedIn. I'm sure you'll find me. Angus is going to give more reviews now. That's really good. Excellent. This is what we need to know. This is what we need to know. Excellent.